Yo, what's going on, y'all? It's Cone back here again today with another video. The offseason was over. It was dead in the water. Nothing has happened for months leading into this point. We're only a couple weeks away from preseason. We've been waiting and waiting for that. I've never been so excited for a media day in my life to actually have things to talk about with the NBA. And then Shams comes in, drops a nuke. No more Woj bombs, but Shams is here to save the day. And out of literally nowhere, just sitting here at my desk, I was working on a different video. The Minnesota Timberwolves are trading Karl-Anthony Towns to the New York Knicks in exchange for Julius Randle and Donte Divincenzo. And the report is there's going to be a third team involved in this in some way because of CBA restrictions. That deal can't happen straight up. So somebody's going to be involved, but that is the main framework of the deal. A swap of two stars with Donte going alongside Julius Randle to Minnesota. It is an insane trade. It's one that's been rumored at times for years. It's felt like, oh, maybe the Wolves will eventually trade Cat this year and this offseason, but it never happened. And the Knicks were one of those teams constantly talked about as a spot where he could end up landing down the line. But it felt like the Wolves were just going to go into the season the way that they were currently constructed because it's a really good team. You've got Ant continuing to rise up to superstardom. Gobert and Cat kind of figured things out this season. It was enough to get them to the Western Conference Finals for the first time in like 20 years. This was one of the best Minnesota teams we have ever seen. And so I didn't think we were going to see any major shakeups. Like they brought in Joe Ingles to this team. They drafted Rob Dillingham, but it felt like they were kind of cool and chilling, which wouldn't have been a surprise at all because they were just really, really good. They were in the fight for the 1 seed all the way throughout the year until Cat got injured. That was probably the thing that prevented them from getting that spot. And then they deal him after he did just have a monster season. When he was healthy, he was out there knocking down threes consistently, the way he's always been one of the best shooting big men ever. He was fitting in more with Rudy Gobert and Anthony Edwards. He was an all-star, and he was pretty good at some moments throughout the playoffs. It wasn't a perfect run by any means, but he was really solid for this squad, and it just didn't seem like if there was ever going to be an offseason to trade him, it would be this one. But they go ahead and they make the move, and it's adding Julius Randle and Donte Divincenzo. Now, first of all, I want to say Julius Randle's a really good player. He has made an All-NBA team a couple years over the past few. He's been an All-Star a couple of times. I know he's had some playoff struggles and he was hurt last year, but Julius Randle is legitimately very, very good. I'm interested to see how Randle fits with this team. Maybe the Wolves looked at this past season and thought to themselves, we need to be a bit more dynamic offensively, and they thought Julius Randle and Donte were guys that could fix that problem, because Randle is somebody who's a really solid playmaker for his position. He's able to bully guys inside, create his own shot, a bit better than Cat has been able to. Now, Cat, again, one of the best shooters we've ever seen at the center position. He's a great offensive force, but it does feel like a lot of times Cat struggles to make his own shot when they need him to. It feels like every bucket that he gets is extremely difficult. He's not great at backing down guys and making that bucket happen. Maybe they think Randle could be a bit more of that dynamic offensive piece and play a bit better off of Anthony Edwards, is a bit of a better fit next to Rudy Gobert. I guess that's the way they're going, but I do worry about the drop-off in the shooting by trading a guy like Cat. They do add a little bit more at the backcourt spot in Donte Divincenzo, who's amazing for the Knicks this past season. Had a career year. He's a good defender. He's going to fit like a glove alongside Mike Conley and Anthony Edwards and Jaden McDaniels. It just gives them another two-way player who's going to really produce for you offensively, can create his own shot. We saw him have a stretch of like 20 and 30-point games this past season for the Knicks when Brunson was out. He's not going to be asked to do that, but I do think he gives you a really reliable offensive weapon on that end. So all in all, I don't hate it for the Timberwolves, but it does feel weird to go ahead and make this move now after Cat had a great season, after you had all that success. I'm going to have to see it on the court. I need to see how Randle looks coming off of the injury from this past season. And also there's the question mark of what does he look like in the playoffs? Because up to this point, Julius Randle really hasn't done much in the playoffs whatsoever. If you're the Wolves and you want to compete for a championship, you need him to not only be much better than he's been, but you need him to be astronomically better, because it's been really bad throughout his early going, throughout his playoff career. Again, he hasn't been there many times, so it's not like 10 years of this happening, but it is something to be a bit concerned about. So that's one side of the coin. And then we haven't even talked about the Knicks yet. This is crazy. This is a big time improvement, if you ask me, for the New York Knicks. Going ahead and adding Karl-Anthony Towns to this team, they needed somebody at the big man spot. And it felt like it was going to be a backup, someone who could kind of just step in to the Mitchell Robinson role until he comes back from injury. If you didn't see, Mitchell Robinson is going to be out until December or January with an injury. He's also just generally injury prone, so you want somebody else to step up into that spot, because after losing Hartenstein to the Thunder, it's like Jericho Sims, Precious Achiuwa, not really a lot of options. I mean, Taj Gibson Tom Thibodeau could always call him back up, ask the Hornets to cut him and let him come over because that's what he typically does. But they needed somebody at the big man spot, and there have been rumors recently about Clint Capella or like a Nick Richards from the Hornets, a number of guys throughout the association, but I never thought it would be Cat. But Cat is going to be a force for this team, playing alongside, I imagine the starting lineup will be Jalen Brunson, Josh Hart, OG Anunoby, Mikal Bridges, and Cat until Mitchell Robinson comes back. You could always try out the double big thing with Mitchell Robinson and Cat when Mitch Rob does return, if you want to go take a look at that, see how it looks with him as that rim protector. And you have defenders now with Mikal and OG, as well as Josh Hart off the bench, and again, Mitchell Robinson when he returns, to make up for the defensive deficiencies of a Karl-Anthony Towns. But just having that spacing to be able to give extra room for Brunson and those other players to operate, I do think will be pretty big for this team. I do worry, I guess, a little bit about the shot creation because that was a big problem for them in the playoffs. They really missed Randle in that role, but Mikal Bridges did a lot of that in Brooklyn. He's going to have a chance to do so, and while Cat's not amazing, he can also produce in that way. It definitely lowers the depth a little bit of the Knicks, but they've got so many bodies that they can throw out there that are really talented anyways. Like, you still have Deuce McBride on this team. You drafted Tyler Kolek, who I think could be pretty solid from day one. It's an insane deal to go ahead and happen this late in the offseason out of nowhere from two teams who are trying to be championship contenders. I feel like right off the bat, I give the Knicks the win in this one because I do think Cat gives them really big upside, and you have to take swings if you're the Knicks when the East is as good as it is, with the Celtics being a powerhouse. They were dominant throughout the playoffs. The Sixers made a big acquisition. Of course, Milwaukee Bucks are still there. You've got the threat of, other teams like the Pacers are getting better. The Magic are improving. The Cavaliers are still good. It is a good Eastern Conference. So they're going to continue to take swings. They swung for the fences adding OG Anunoby. They swung again this offseason adding Mikal, who felt like he was going to be the big acquisition of this offseason. It didn't seem like they were going to go for anybody else. And they add Karl-Anthony Towns. Between the Mikal Bridges trade, they did give up some selections, but they've still got more. This trade, they only seemingly had to give up the one via Detroit. I'm going to refresh my notifications real quick to make sure we haven't heard any more news about anything. Nope, nothing else has dropped. Also, it's weird to see Woj not being out here tweeting about this. Congrats to him on retirement. But yeah, like, they only had to give up the one first-round pick from Detroit, so it's not like they're emptying the complete treasure trove of assets to build this team. So there's still ways to improve it in the future. If the Cat thing doesn't work, you could pair him in some first-round picks and make an upgrade there. You could trade some other salary if you do like Cat, but you want to add another star. It's just, I can't believe this happened. I was literally in the process of making a Thunder video, which is going to still be dropping within the next few days, and this comes completely out of nowhere. Off the bat, it's interesting for the Wolves. I don't know if I love it quite yet. I need to see on the court, but I do see the vision there at least. For the Knicks, I think this is an amazing decision to go ahead and make because now you not only help out with your big man depth, but you add an all-star caliber big in a conference that is full of them. You can now have Mitchell Robinson take on a bit less of an offensive load or just workload in general. When he comes back, he can be off the bench for Cat. You can play them with a double big lineup. There's a lot of versatility with this team. Tom Thibodeau is going to try to get him to defend. Cat has played under Tom Thibodeau before as well, so that makes him more familiar with the system. Shams just dropped an article. I'm going to open up real quick and see if there's any information. It wants me to log into The Athletic. I'm sure there's nothing too crazy in there. I just wanted to see if there's anything that gives us insight onto why this deal happened. There's literally nothing. It's just letting us know that the trade is happening. So that's all I've got for the moment. Let me know what you think down below in the comments about this trade. Who won? Who lost? How would you grade it for both sides? Are you interested to see, or what do you think the Wolves are thinking with this? Do you feel like there's a good thought process there? Are they just trying to make sure they don't have to worry about the salary situation? I wonder if maybe something happened behind the scenes because Cat tweeted out just ... like 16 minutes ago, right around the time the trade broke. So it seems like he didn't even know that this was going to go ahead and happen. It is insane. Let me know what you think about the Knicks. Where does this place them in the East now? Did you already have them as one of the favorites? Are they now your favorites? Do you have them second behind the Celtics? Are they still right there with like the Sixers and the Bucks? Would love to hear your input. Yeah, this is an insane, I guess, end to the offseason. Thank God we got one final massive nuke of news because otherwise this really was going to go down as one of the worst off seasons ever. But we got saved. The NBA has drama nonstop. That's all I've got for you. Leave a like and subscribe if you enjoyed. Hit the notification bell so you don't miss out on future videos. I'll see y'all later. Real one, say it back.